Okay, 10 minutes goes really quickly, so I'm going to jump right into these next questions. The question I have, did I attend church services while I was in South Korea? No, I did not. I wish I had, but I didn't. However, I did watch my home church in Houston, the Fountain of Praise, via the internet. And that's not always the same, but it was better than nothing, you know. So I would watch it online, but because the church was it was like 2 hours. The nearest English church was like 2 hours away. And it was just hard for me to get up every weekend and travel 2 hours, and, you know, but I do wish I had attended church there. There are English speaking churches there, and they're all around. So if you have the opportunity to attend an English speaking church and that's something you desire, I would definitely suggest it. Did I learn the language beforehand? No, I did not. I wish I had. The process went so quick for me. Literally, it was like once I decided, okay, this is for me, and I started going through the process, it was like bam, 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 bam. I hadn't looked at the language. I hadn't bought a little language book or anything. But I wish I had. It's not impossible to communicate if you're not able to learn the language before. But if you can learn the language before you go, even just a little bit, I would suggest it. It'll be very helpful. And even learning the letters so you can read certain signs that may not be in English. Was dealing with the language barrier difficult? Yes, it was. More so at the beginning. It was difficult. Once again, me being in the country, so really people don't speak English. It was difficult. I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, nobody knows what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, what have I done? But after some time, I just started playing charades, and you know, I would have people who helped me. I had a Korean friend who helped me, and my co-teachers who helped me. But the language barrier is still difficult, so learn the language. It will help you tremendously, and you won't have to depend on everyone else so much. I have someone who said that they have a fear of not being understood, or, you know, taken seriously, or maybe people being kind to them if they don't learn the language, and they wanted to know if that's a legitimate fear. Yes, it is. That's completely understandable. Just as nervous as it may make you not learning the language for a country you're about to live in, it makes them nervous because they can't speak English, or they may only speak a little bit of English, you know, so they're nervous that they can't communicate with you, and you're nervous that you can't communicate with them. So that's a very legitimate fear. I know that a lot of Koreans, you know, they may even know just a little English, but they have this thing with perfection. And so a lot of times they may not speak English to a foreigner because they feel like you may not understand them, or you may make fun of them, or, you know, it may be wrong. And so they have the same fears that we would have going there. So but don't worry about it. I know that you're already, and I'm talking to this particular person, you're already making the steps to learn the language, so you'll be fine. And once they see that you have actually made an attempt to learn their language, they're more open not only to speak a little bit of English to you if they can, but to also help you better learn their language. And I did good with the time. I'll go ahead and answer this question. Was traveling easy while living in Yeoju? And how did you get around to the different places? Traveling was okay. Now, if I'm in the town, walking was nothing. It was easy, and I preferred walking around the town. You can also take a taxi if needed. But if I wanted to go to Seoul, or, you know, go to Songtan, go to Ulsan, wherever, I would always have to take a bus, and usually at some point take a subway. That got a little old. It got a little tiring. I actually probably maybe about 5-6 months ago started getting nauseous on the bus. I felt like I was on the buses all the time, always on subways, and so that sucked. But you have a lot of public transportation you can use. You just have to take into account if you're in the country like I was. Most of your day actually could be traveling, or a significant part of your day could be traveling. Okay, I have to walk to the bus station, then I have to take the bus to wherever, then I may have to jump on a subway. You know, you have to take that into consideration when you're deciding, do I want to live in the country, do I want to live in the city? But it wasn't impossible. Anywhere I needed to go, I got there. And I prefer public transportation. I like that I didn't have to drive. And even when I decided to go out of Korea, I did have the opportunity to utilize airplanes and all that. So, I mean, you can get where you need to go. Just depending on where you live, it may take a little longer. Subway system is not hard to figure out. The best thing that I can say is to go with someone the first time, go by yourself the second time. I learned it, and probably 6 months into it, I stopped using my subway map. And I am known for my bad sense of direction. So I figured it out very quickly. And the buses, not hard to figure out. Taxis, not hard to get a taxi. I mean, every once in a while you'll have someone who don't want to deal with you because they don't speak English and you don't speak Korean, but getting around is easy. You know, you have everything right there to your disposal, and you usually can ask someone for help. They have subway maps, and I actually bought a book from the bookstore in Itaewon called What the Book, and it was A Guide to Seoul. I left it in Korea, so I don't remember, but it was a Lonely Planet book. So it had resources for food, hotels, things to do, all that kind of stuff in the book. And at the back of the book, it actually had a subway map. So that was very, very helpful. Also, when you buy a cell phone in Korea, it comes with a subway map on it. If you read Korean, it can be very beneficial. I heard that some of the phones did have the subway map in English. Mine didn't. But, you know, traveling is not hard. It's very easy to figure out. It's all over the place. Buses and cabs and bicycles and walking and all that good stuff. I personally wouldn't want to drive in Korea. I'm not quite sure what the laws are and if they're required to follow them. It just made me nervous seeing people drive. But yeah, don't worry about that. It's very easy to get around, and if you have a choice between the country and the city, I would actually say you may want to consider the city when it comes to traveling around. But you know, it's not impossible. I did it for a year. So hopefully that helps you guys. Off to the next video.